has to say. He says that with proper planning and deliberate action, privately owned clubs can excel in Nigerian Premier Football League. Amunike made this remark in a congratulatory message to Remo Stars following their triumph in the 2024-2025 MPFL title race. The former Super Eagles forward urged Daniel Ogbumide's side to build on their success and strive to assemble a strong team for next season CAF Champions League. So looking at these angles now is very, very key for how they would be able to, advance and, build a stronger team to go and represent in CAF, because still their schedule is going to be very tight, and they'll be playing the EPL and they'll be playing the MPFL and also be playing the CAF. So they will still need to have a very strong side to be able to, continue with the competition and see how they'll be able to defend. Like looking at Enugu Rangers now, where they were the former champions for the 2023-2024 season, and then they weren't able to advance so much to, qualify and also contend. They finished around 8th in this season's standings on the table, and then they didn't do so well in the CAF based on the current standings and the team that they have. So now, based on this message by Emmanuel Amunike, I think it's high time for them to be able to, perform better. But we'll be talking more about this conversation immediately after this break. Please do stay with us. Yes, many thanks for staying with us as we were actually conversing before we had to go on that very quick break, talking about privately owned teams, just like Remo Stars, who are situated in Ogun State. Those guys are very, great and amazing. So when a whole lot of investment is actually done on teams, that's talking about privately owned teams now, they would also advance further. So looking at what Emmanuel Amunike said, who is the technical director of Heartland of Owerri, how key is it that, states too now will be able to adopt, just like Kelemi Warriors and, Lobby Stars that are situated in Benue. How key is it going to be for state government to pay more and invest more in players and in their local teams to help boost, football in those communities?
Well, one thing about football, how we have been seeing it now and before, different between a government-owned club and a private-owned club. You see the private-owned club tend to succeed than the government-owned club because of how government run their system and how money has always usually been disbursed for this kind of things.
Yes.
Everything is like a budget. But the private-owned company, their sole business is to win. You understand? They want to invest and see more investors invest in them too. Also, that's why Remo Stars are doing well. The owner of Remo Stars, that is Kunle Soname, is the owner of Bet Nigeria.
Bet Nigeria.
You understand? So he invested now. He has this money. His own private business. He invested more now on Remo Stars and see the outcome.
Yes.
They are winning the league. So Amunike is not far from the truth.
Yes.
You understand? We need more support. We need more investors to invest in football. There are a lot of things we need to invest. You see other program, all these reality TVs. You see how investors all come in to put in
all those microfinance banks and co.
Yes, put in. So this kind of things, put it also in football. You understand? It's business. You get the results, your returns. You understand? So it's just how you place, how the system works. So government-owned club, you see how
need to do more.
More fundings are not being given to them.
The Super Eagles and the NFF always have
player you're playing, you are receiving like 100K a month. as your pay, as your salary.
Yes.
What is 100K for a player that will travel, he will be injured, he will take care of himself, medication, feed. You understand?
Yes.
You look at all those clubs. Look at the European club, the EPL. Majority of them are being owned by private owners.
Yes.
That's why they are succeeding. The government give them. The government still
Get
make
their
money,
taxes
yes.
and all of that
Yes,
from
they still
them.
make money off them. If you cannot private own this company, and if you cannot sponsor this company as government, give it to private owners. Let them run this and give it to investors. But you know how it is. Investors are trying to, let's not say, shy away from the country, but
Yes.
still, because they need return. That's what it's about investing. You invest and you expect returns.
Yeah.
And this is what Remo Stars are enjoying now. In 3 years now, they invested in the club and they are seeing returns.
You're seeing returns.
They have academy. Their players are being signed to Europe.
Europe.
That's a lifetime contract for them also. Because if the players now perform, they go from one club to another. There's bonus packages for this club.
clubs.
So as it's business.
That's a business angle. Well,
Yes.
we'll have this conversation of the business angle of sport on a different edition.
Yes.
You know, we'll just definitely have those business. So that's why the government needs to like actually step in and do more. But we'll have that conversation on a different note. So moving away from our beloved local scene, let's advance into the EPL. Well, Nottingham Forest to assess Ola ahead of Brentford clash. Nottingham Forest manager Nino Espirito Santo has provided an update on Ola fitness ahead of his Premier League clash with Brentford. Aina has missed Forest's last 4 matches across all competition due to a calf injury. The Nigerian international has returned to training and is edging closer to full fitness. So looking at this now, we saw how, you know, his presence was missed in their last 4 games, and the defense line suffered a whole lot. And obviously, the results of that game showed that okay, someone was really missing.
Yeah.
So looking at Olaina now and his fitness, how well do you think coming back, we have seen him come back from injury and he fits in right back immediately. And how well do you think he's going to fit in? And also the conversation about him moving to Man City, do you think it's going to happen?
Well, right now they are focused on getting him fit, because if he's not fit, there's no transfer.
Yeah.
You understand? So he needs to be fit, and I want Nottingham Forest to manage him. That's why they are assessing him. Maybe he's going to be fit for the game. You understand? Because he has played a lot of games this season, and not just high intensity football. You know how he has performed this season,
yes.
defensive wise, scoring goals, creating
goals.
assists
Yeah.
for Nottingham Forest. And when he got injured, you see how integral he is. They missed him because filling that hole, because he's a very good defender.
Yes.
So they need to get him fit and ready for the rest games and see what will happen with City. And eventually, if he goes to City as a Nigerian, I'm happy for him. That's an upgrade for his career. It's a good thing for football. That's just if a big team is coming for you.
Yeah, that
it shows
means
how good you are. How you have worked hard for this. You understand?
Yeah.
His hard work is showing off now. Same in the country, in Super Eagles. Anytime it comes to Super Eagles, you see how diligent he is,
Yes.
how focused he is, how he give all. So these are the things we want from our players in Europe. So it's a good thing for him. But I wish him all the best. I want him to come back fit.
But do you think they will let him go based on we can see how integral he is?
Yes.
Whenever he's not around, his absence will be felt. Do you think that Nottingham Forest, after fighting to be among the top 4, do you think they will want to throw away that chance if they luckily and miraculously find themselves in the Champions League?
Well, yes, that's what I wanted to say. It depends on Champions League,
yes.
because as I said, City is an upgrade.
Yes.
Any other team in the top 4 is an upgrade for Olaina.
Yes.
Even though he's going to any other club outside England, it's an upgrade for him from Nottingham Forest, because a lot of people do not expect him to play so good like this, moving from his club. That's Fulham, right?
Yes.
So
he was in Chelsea, from Chelsea to Fulham, from Fulham,
yes,
Nottingham Forest,
so,
and
you
yes.
understand? So a lot have not been actually expected for him, but now he's playing. That's the hard work.
Yeah.
So if if he's playing well, it's all about money. You know how the transfer world is now.
Yeah.
The transfer world is really crazy. It's all about money. If City drop or any other club drop 50, 60 million, and depends on the financial package that comes with it.
Yeah.
If the package is okay for online, it's 25. You understand?
He still has time, and he's at his prime.
It's going into his prime. So it depends on where the club is going to fit in when it's going to his prime. So it still all depends on the Champions League. It depends on the European games, because if Nottingham Forest right now they're in sixth position,
Yes.
but they have a game in hand. So if they win, it's a good thing for them. There's going to be an improve, but we can't say. You understand?
We really can't say at the end of the day. But
I wish him all the best, as I said.
yes,
It's an upgrade for him.
it's actually a very big
good
upgrade
for him.
yes.
So you should critically think it and check the net, because this stage right now is a time you need to think where your club you want to go
to.
Because any contract you sign now is taken into your 30s.
30s, yes.
Close to your 30s. If you sign it's 25 going to 26.
Six.
If you sign a 4-year
Four-year
contract,
automatically you'll be 30.
So this is a
Then in the next maybe 5 years now, you'll be talking about retirement
Yes,
and
so-
all. So that's if his body and injury wouldn't be a concern.
Yeah,
so let's just see what happens at the end of the day. The same with Victor Osimhen, the same with Ademola Lookman. All of these guys, big teams are actually coming. Even Wilfred Ndidi, who is with the relegated side, Leicester City. Also, all of these guys are actually playing so well, and there's a release clause for Wilfred Ndidi around 9 million pounds. 9 million pounds, which is his release clause. That is what Leicester City are saying. So we'll see how all of those, pans out in the next couple of weeks as this 2024-2025 season is coming to an end gradually. So let's move away from that and then talk about Real Madrid, where Bellingham's red card overturned. Rudiger gets 6-match ban. Real Madrid defender Antonio Rudiger has been handed a 6-game ban for his red card in their 3-2 defeat to Barcelona in the Copa del Rey final. However, his teammate Jude Bellingham has seen his sending off be cancelled. Also, Rudiger, Bellingham, and Lucas Vázquez were all dismissed in extra time of the game as they reacted angrily to the ref Radical de Brongos as he made a decision. So looking at it now, there were some gestures just like the one on your screen as we speak, and also a whole lot of conversation happened. So looking at this now, with this reaction, seeing professionals reacting this way to referees, do you think that don't you think that aside the match ban, don't you think a fine or something should be?
Well, I feel this ban comes with a fine.
Okay.
Maybe they're not letting
it out. Yes.
With the history of fines and ban, history of ban, it comes with a fine. And well, these are the kind of things you try to use to tame these players.
Yes.
Because we should not forget that football is an emotional game.
Very emotional.
So, and a lot of things was at stake in that game. And you know how a Clasico used to be.
Yes.
Very
And the rivalry going on between Real Madrid and Barcelona.
The current rivalry right now, because it's different.
It's been there for over
Like
for
the heat now
decades.
is different.
Yes.
It is not. It has moved beyond Messi,
Ronaldo
yes,
now.
It has come back to the main Clasico
team, yes.
Whole team.
The
And these
pride of
players,
Spain, yes.
And these players know the importance of this game, and you know how Barcelona under Hansi Flick has been doing so good. They have won Madrid in the last 3 games. How many games?
Yeah.
They have scored Madrid over
10 goals, yes.
So these kind of things surely gets to the players emotionally, and you see the game. The Madrid fans, Madrid players felt the referee was against them. And you saw Rudiger action, and you see you can't fight the ref because the ref is the owner of the pitch. You understand?
Yeah.
Everybody respects him. If possible, the fans too. You have to. Everybody respects.
You don't have a choice. He has
the 90 minutes. He is in charge of the game, in charge of everything. Well, this is another kind of punishment. This game ban is okay for him, and is injured.
Yes.
He did surgery. So it's a good time for him
to even go and rest. All things work together for him.
Yeah, he said he has been playing with pain.
Yes.
So it's a good thing for him now to go and fix his injury, come back. But Madrid is going to suffer for it.
Yes, at the
because
back
we know
line.
how defensively they have been porous this season. They have lost a lot of defenders. They have not signed Asensio, the young lad, coming in to fill in into the position. He has been doing so good with Rudiger. Most times you see Tchouameni playing the centre back. So, but the season is almost over, but they are still in the title race to challenge. Well, so missing Rudiger is going to is a very big loss for them.
Do you think Real Madrid will end this season without a trophy?
How? We can't say because anything can happen. They just have only the La Liga to fight for.
Yes.
So, and the La Liga, as it is, Barcelona, they are not letting
Thank you very much.
They are firing all cylinder. And as a Flick, you know how determined he is, how he wants to win. He's a winner, and he wants to win trophy. You want to win this. This is the first season. You also want to do it, and they are ahead now with points, and they're in a good position. They're in Champions League. They have won the Copa del Rey.
So like they still have two titles that they are. Yes.
Yeah, they're this kind of confidence now within the team. They believe they can win. Because first, mentally, you win in your head first. So like they believe they have won, and they are playing towards that. You see the likes of Yamin Yamal performing, Rafinha performing, Pedri. Even the legend Fermin Lopez, a lot of them from the defense to Pokubasi. So this team is a very young team. They want to achieve.
Yes.
And this is what they are seeing these achievements in their front now. So they want to achieve all these things. So
this is young, a young squad that are very hungry and they can play very fast.
Very fast game, and they are so good.
Lewandowski is even playing catch up with them because
he enjoyed for me. A lot of assists. You understand? A lot of ball because this season, the work rate is different from what he brings to the game before, and now you have a lot of assists. The Lama and Rafinha. You see the goals he has scored, and now he's injured. They are missing him. But Ferran Torres are stepping. That's how team works. You need squad depth for this. And when the player is out, you need someone to come in to fill in the gap and perform. If not like the player, but fill in the gap and still perform. And that's what happened. That's why they are on top now. And tonight they are playing Inter Milan. So hopefully let's see what will happen.
Okay, looking at it, before we just move away from this story totally, Barcelona now are also putting an eye on Victor Osimhen. Do you think anything might happen?
Wow, that's going to be massive.
Because they are looking at
because you know how the team is now. This is a new setup, and this is a very good team, and he has those kind of attackers. He has those midfielders that give him the kind of ball Osimhen will tend to like and usually used to score. And we know how it
just like what we are seeing in Galatasaray.
And he's a good striker. Osimhen can play in any club in the world. He's a top-notch 9. He's a very good. Any club in the world he can play, regardless of any kind of pattern they play. He's that kind of player. So it's a good thing for his career. But Barcelona with their challenges now, with their money issues that they are having. So let's see if they can reduce their budget, let go of some players. If they are open, you know how Osimhen is. Osimhen is a big boy.
Very big boy.
Expensive. It doesn't come cheap.
It doesn't come cheap.
Because he gives you goals and he gives you assists.
Yeah, just like what we always say here, better soup now waiting to am.
Money killer.
Full package now. Money really killer. So let's talk Champions League now as PSG defeats Arsenal 1-0 in semi-finals first leg. Paris Saint-Germain have defeated Arsenal 1-0 in the first leg of their UEFA Champions League semi-finals. Ousmane Dembele scored the only goal of the game as the Ligue 1 champions pulled off an impressive win at the Emirates. It was Dembele who began the attack before passing the ball, and also the ball found its way back to him, and again he finds the back of the net to finish past David Ryan. And then looking at all of those, the trajectory continued like that. Arsenal tried to gain momentum and the whole thing didn't go as they planned. They found it very hard in the first 10 to 15 minutes to get stabilized, but the damage happened in the first 3 minutes, and it was very hard. Towards the end, they tried scoring a goal, but it got cancelled. And
Sorry.
yes, at the end of the day, but Declan Rice was also the man who tried his best, but it didn't, pan out that way as they expected. So looking at all of this now, going into the second leg. Okay, looking at the performance, let's talk about Arsenal's performance from last night.
Okay.
I'm guessing you watched the match.
Yeah. I did. I don't miss this kind of Champions League football.
Yes.
I have to watch the best games, the best of the games.
Yeah, which was one of the best of the games, best games. So looking at it now, I think their job were more easier when they played Madrid, don't you think?
Well, that's how PSG is good. First, let's not undermine PSG.
I've always been saying that.
So good the whole season. They just lost their first league game last week against Nice. They have not lost any game.
I think
the coach. It was Arsenal that gave them their first loss. That's in Champions League group stage.
Yes,
they have not lost any game. They have been so good under Luis Enrique, and the acquisition of Kvaratskhelia. You have Dembele fine, you have Dio, you have Bracola. The attack and the midfield, their midfielders are so good. You have Vitia playing so well, João Neves doing the defensive work, and the setup of the team is so good. So let's not take that away
from them. Yeah.
And you see the approach to the game. You know how Champions is all about goals.
Yes.
And first 4 minutes they rushed the game.
They scored.
They dominated the game. To an extent before Arsenal came in.
Yeah.
And you see last night, Arsenal missed Thomas Partey.
Yes, they did.
Yes. Declan Rice, was impressive. I saw those driving runs, but at the time, there are some kind balls you just need to share. You understand? That stability that they had in the midfield against Real Madrid, they didn't have it. Yes, they didn't have it. To an extent, you understand? They didn't have it. So, and you know how PSG midfield is so good. They are so good. They know how to mark, and they are young.
Yes.
They are aggressive, and they know they're a good passer of the ball.
Yes.
So first it was the midfield. So because any football game, when you dominate the midfield and you have a good attacker, there's tendency of you winning. That's what happened. You see how Kvaratskhelia was on their toes yesterday.
Yes.
Same as Dembele before he got injured. And the Dio boy, the Dio guy was so good. You understand? That's how they set up.
Yes.
And Arsenal attackers were not set up like that yesterday because they dominated the game from the midfield. So second leg, I believe there's going to be a different approach to Arteta, same as Luis Enrique. But Arsenal fans will have loved to win this in their home, because that's one of the reasons they knocked out Madrid. When they got to Bernabeu, they won 3-0. Coming into their home, you just need a goal. You understand?
And then they got two.
So that's how it is. So now going to PSG now, I know how Paris are strong in their home. How good the same antics, the same approach Arsenal and Arsenal fans do in London, same approach PSG to also use too, because their own fans too are also loud and they are good also, and PSG are also good. So the second leg game is going to be a determining factor about the game.
Before we get into the conversation of the second leg game, this Mikel Arteta said something as a coach of Arsenal. He was like, why Arsenal lost to PSG? Arsenal manager Arteta has admitted that his team struggled in the opening 15 minutes of their 1-0 defeat to Paris Saint-Germain, and Ousmane Dembele scored, obviously, the only goal, as PSG claimed a slim advantage to Champions League semi-finals. Arteta speaking after the game claimed that they should have gotten at least a draw. Did you agree with that statement, that they should have gotten at least a draw?
Yeah, well, yes.
Because they finally found the back of the
chances.
Yes, they had chances. Yes,
there's a chance Martinelli had, but Donnarumma was there. That's why he's there. Same as PSG. PSG too had chances to score. They hit the bar. Raha came in to save in some games. So the game was an open game. Just the best of the team have to win.
That's
what PSG did yesterday. They
They
dominated.
saw the opportunity in the
And they
first
took it.
10 minutes and they took
And
it.
they took it.
Yeah.
Arsenal came into the game very late. First half, they came into the game very late. Second half, they came in, they were firing, they got a goal. After the goal was cancelled, the momentum dropped again. You understand?
Yeah.
PSG pick up the momentum, they were chasing the game, same as Arsenal. So that's how the game pans out. You
Yeah.
understand? So it's just approach. The approach to PSG, they know they need a goal.
Okay.
Yes, and you're playing away from home. What do you need? You need a goal. You know the normal Champions League before when we were using this
Aggregates, yes.
People used to go for goals.
Yes.
You know, if you score a goal, you have like 2 goals.
Good
You understand
advantage,
advantage. But
yeah.
now there's no advantage. But still, you still need goals.
Goals.
Because everything still boils down to
Aggregates.
It still boils down to goal. You understand? So it's just the approach.
Approach is
PSG came
actually
in to
very good.
rush the game and they succeeded.
Okay. Let's move away from that and then still talking Champions League. PSG suffered big injury blow ahead of the second leg tie with Arsenal. Paris Saint-Germain manager Luis Enrique has confirmed that forward Ousmane Dembele picked up a minor hamstring injury during his side's UEFA Champions League semi-final first leg win against Arsenal at the Emirates Stadium. According to Eric, the French international is in a doubt for the return leg against Arsenal next Wednesday in Paris. Recall that Dembele scored the only goal in the first leg to give PSG a slim advantage, and he was let off in the second half and didn't seem to be in too much trouble. So these guys have the advantage, and we see how crucial Dembele was for them. Do you think if he doesn't get to play in the second leg, do you think that he's terribly going to be missed, and do you think it's going to affect PSG negatively?
Well, it's going to be missed because he's a very good player. And you know what it brings to the game, what it brings to PSG team. Same
Yes.
as last night, you saw it scoring the only goal. That's how integral he is to the team.
Yes.
But still, you know, a team is not made up of a player alone. And I believe that's how PSG is being built now. They have a very good squad depth. They have this desired deal. They have Bracola. They have someone that can step in. So I just hope the person that is going to step in will step in so good. But PSG right now, Dembele right now, this is going to be a very big miss for PSG in that second leg.
Yeah.
And as I said, he cannot be fit because of next week, just 1 week, and it's an hamstring injury. He cannot play with hamstring. Every day you play, you will not be so effective as the way you are. You understand? So it's going to be a very big miss. But I believe PSG have someone in their Arsenal to use to fire the
Maybe
gunners.
they might just bring him in maybe in the first half, or maybe put him in the second half, and then maybe he can
No, it's going
give
to be
them
out. If you know the history of Dembele with injury,
and
he's
injuries.
a player they usually used to manage. When he was in Dortmund, it was
And
managed.
Arsenal.
When he was
Rather
in
Barcelona, I
so
beg your
same
pardon,
as
yes.
one of the injury that let them let go of him. But he came into PSG. You see how he's firing. So this is just a setback. It's normal.
I think
It's normal.
they say
he has been playing all through the season.
yes, you know, they say the French are the people of love. I guess so much love has healed most of those injuries, those injuries for him, and he has been playing very well.
He has been so good this season.
Yeah, so let's move away from football entirely and let's talk a little bit of NBA playoffs, where the dreams of Bucks claiming, that's talking about Milwaukee Bucks and Giannis, claiming another championship or advancing into the Eastern Conference Finals has been crushed. Milwaukee Bucks power forward Giannis Antetokounmpo criticized Tyrese Haliburton's dad's disrespectful after the pair were involved in a heated exchange following the Indiana Pacers series clinching win. The Pacers booked their spot in the NBA playoff semifinals with a 119-118 win against the Bucks. Haliburton hit the go-ahead layup with 1.3 seconds left on the clock as the Pacers seals a 4-1 series win, and following the buzzer, supporters entered the court to celebrate, and that was when Antetokounmpo, a two-time NBA Most Valuable Player, was approached by what he thought was a Pacers fan who stunted him with a towel that had Hublot's face on it, so which was obviously Hublot's father. So much excitement going on, and then a whole lot of heated arguments happen, and emotions are always very, very higher when it comes to basketball than football. So you can see a whole lot of tussling were happening, and the father was just all over in his face and trying to let him know that yes, my son kicked you off the playoffs. So things like that. And then at the end of the day, obviously Giannis is an NBA champion and also a two-time NBA most valuable player, which the man's son, that's talking about Hublot, has never even gotten close to advancing or even winning any of those titles. So at the end of the day, Giannis tagged it disrespectful, and also they made peace. Boys will always be boys, will fight, and then we get to settle. Yes, that's just the love of the game. Still talking, NBA playoff Celtics cruise into semi-finals. Defending champions Bolton Celtics seal a 4-1 series win with a comfortable 120-89 win against Orlando Magic. I actually thought they were going to sweep them, but they were able to get a win. Then Jason Tatum, top scorer with 35 points as well as 10 assists and 8 rebounds. The game turned in the third quarter when Magic forward Paolo Brancho was forced to sit out following his 5th foul when the Magic held a 4-point lead. The Celtics will face either the New York Knicks or Detroit Pistons in the next round of the playoffs. On the other hand, Cleveland trashed Miami Heat to win the playoff series at 4-0. So looking at this now, I know you've been following the NBA gradually. So looking at how the NBA has been going so far, how intense can you say this playoff series has been?
Well, the playoff has been actually be interesting.
Yes.
It is not going according to how people want it. Shock.
Yes.
Have been happening. That's how we want this sport should be. You understand?
Yes.
Surprises, shocks, all those trees of the game. That's what we want, and that's what's happening in the playoff now.
Currently.
That's why you have Giannis and other guys getting issues.
Yeah.
So that's the love for basketball, and that's how the playoff now is so.
It's very, very intense. Like they would say, it's either you play hard currently, or go home. The referees don't even
at
call
this stage is play hard or
go home. It's just very interesting how these guys are doing, and it's also amazing. So early hours of Thursday morning, we'll be witnessing another playoff round where the Golden State Warriors will be taking on still Houston Rockets. The Golden State Warriors are leading the series at 3-1 currently. So if the Golden State Warriors get to win, the team of Jimmy Butler, Stephen Curry, and Draymond Green, and also Buddy Hills, if they get to win the next match, that means automatically they've advanced into the second stage or the second phase of the series, where they'll be facing either Lakers or the Timberwolves, or they would be facing what are they called now? The New York Knicks, if they get to advance. So we'll just bring you most of those updates as it unfolds, obviously. And I want to say a very big thank you to Olariwaju Jesse, the Liverpool fan, and the current champions of the EPL, as for joining us on today's edition of
I like the way you said it. It's good. Yes, we have to congratulate. So you said you can win. Understand? We have to break that Man City bond. Okay, Man City have the soul winning, so we just have to show up.
Well, I'm glad you didn't drag Chelsea into that. So
I respect Chelsea. It's just the other side of London,
Wow, nice. I see what you did there. All the same, thank you so much for joining us on today's edition of Talk Sports, and really appreciate you.
You're welcome.
Yes, and that's how much time will permit us to take on today's edition. I want to say a very big thank you to the entire production team for making today's production seamless. My name is Samuel Odi. I'll see you again as we talk more sports. Bye for now.